So, hey guys, welcome to episode 3 of Badly Behaved. I think we've been badly behaved since we recorded our last episode. Maybe.
How?
I don't know actually. I feel like other people have been badly behaved with us.
Yes. Can we talk about that man yesterday at the gym?
Yeah, and that other man. Why are all our stories about men being badly behaved?
Well, they're all that taakate rehte hain, Sham Savita type guy. Like, so you want to tell them what happened?
You can tell them it happened to you.
Okay.
I mean, I watched it happen and I was worried that I needed to come save you because this guy was like totally creeping on you.
Yeah. So we were at the gym yesterday, guys, and you know how we love cardio and resistance training, and women should love it. So I was on the treadmill and I had put like a really high resistance. I was walking and I thought I'm killing it in life. I was like pumped. I was like, I'm in the zone. And then literally 10 minutes later, some rando guy who kind of looked like, you know, an evil like
Ravan. His face looks like a Ravan face, just
type,
to give you like an image in your
very like
head.
classical like villain from like Ramayana.
Mustache.
Yeah, mustache.
Big eyebrows.
Really tall for some reason, but also really like
What do you
heavy
mean
for
by
some
really
reason.
tall for some reason?
And then he literally comes like from the side while I'm walking, and everyone knows you can't just like, you know, like try to talk to somebody who's, you know, in
It
the
is
zone
such a
on
big-
treadmill. Like,
it
what
is
if I
such
like
a
get
big
distracted
faux
and I
pas.
fall?
Yeah.
And like, I don't know.
And, like, you
what
had your-
if
you
I
had
get a
your-
concussion. Like,
You had your earphones on and you were like in the zone and like you don't want anyone around you
yes,
and
that's
this,
like my time. And then this dimwit just comes and puts his head through, and he's like, hello. So then I took my like AirPods out, and he's like, actually you're doing it wrong. I was like, okay, my trainer literally has told me to do it like this. And then he was like, no, you have to put more pressure on your legs, more pressure. You can't hold the treadmill car like rod situation.
I mean, okay,
And
I don't
he
think
had a
he's-
point.
He's not completely wrong there, but yeah.
But okay, firstly, why does it make, like, why do you think staring at a woman who is doing her own thing on a treadmill, like you just staring and observing her stance for
Like
a while,
obviously he came up to you because he had like watched you for a while.
that's so creepy. Like
Yeah.
when I'm in the gym, I don't look at anyone. I don't even look at you. I ignore you half of the time. A lot of
Actually,
people think you're just
it's
mumbling
really
to
it's
yourself.
really mean. Like I try to talk to you, but you just like
I'm like,
completely
dude,
ignore
get the
me.
fuck away from me. dude.
Okay.
I'm in my zone.
You're very touchy.
So then this guy, like with this weird, you know, like how women have that like whatever sixth sense when you know a guy is like super creepy.
We actually have like a 7th and an 8th and a 9th sense, but yes, let's talk about the 6th
Yeah,
sense.
and so like they have this like weird like wicked like gleam in their eyes, and then they also have this like smile, like a very like, you know, creepy like pedophile type situation going on. So anyway, so he was like, you're doing it wrong, you have to do it this way, like put more pressure, put more, and he was coming like really close, like you saw that, right? And then he was, and obviously they pointed to her, he pointed to her, and she was doing it right, she was not holding the weird rod stuff on the treadmill. So I was like, okay, fine, like I'm just gonna kind of do that, which helped. Literally 5 minutes later, again he creeps up, but from the other side, and he's like, hello. And then I take my AirPods out, and he's like, I hope you didn't get offended. I hope it's fine and all. So I was like, yeah, okay, bye, bitch. And then like literally, I just like started focusing again on my like walking. And then literally 5 minutes later, this girl comes up to me and she's like, hello, can we go home? Yeah.
I will defend why I came up to you. To be completely honest, like as I was like walking like 3 treadmills over, like I kept seeing this guy coming up to you, and so I was like coming in to check if you were okay also, because I do stop. Do I need to walk over to her? But yeah, I feel like every woman has like had such an experience where like some dude is coming up to her and showing her how to like walk right. Like you were just walking. Like
Yeah.
why do you need advice on
I've
walking?
seen so many men like doing weights wrong, and like I don't know what the fuck they're doing.
Yeah.
But I don't see, like, firstly, I don't observe that. Like I'm
Yeah.
like, just you do your thing, like whatever. That's your fitness journey.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
But anyways, I think we should, you know, for all the women out there who are trying to work out, just keep working out and just ignore the men who are trying to teach you things, and hopefully
And we do this.
okay.
Yeah. Like if you
And
don't talk to them, just do.
Yes, yes. You didn't though, interestingly.
I know, like in my weird, like female, like
Like in the moment, you don't
socialization.
realize that you can do that.
Yeah, like my
actually.
social conditioning to just be
You
like,
just wanted to be a nice girl.
yeah, nice
Yeah.
and get the fuck out of my
Yeah.
space sort of thing. Yeah.
So,
Anyway.
so actually today was supposed to be a fun episode, guys. We're going to talk about all of our worst dates and best dates. And maybe talk about how we met our husbands, because we did have our best dates with them, our respective husbands.
Yes.
I can go first. My worst date, you know about this.
Firstly, why did we get married? Like, let's go there.
Um,
Remember, we both against, or actually, you were always like, "हाँ, मम्मी पापा जो भी कहेंगे मैं कर लूँगी," you know, that type.
No, I never thought about it. I just felt like it was like a very natural conclusion to like dating someone and like being into them and
Yeah.
whatever. But my worst date story. So like most of the people I dated, this was while I was living in New York. You know, in New York, like there's a lot of Indian Americans who are using like using like dating apps. I was on a dating app, and I met this one Indian American guy. We went to a bar, and literally like 2 minutes into the date, like I've barely even sat down. He's like, "Aapke baal bahut achhe hain. Like you have really beautiful hair. Like,
He said
can
that
I?"
in Hindi.
I think like a Hinglish, like Hindi English mix.
Oh, so he thought like you're a fob.
I don't know. I mean,
You do look a little like fresh off the boat types.
I mean, at the time I was, and like proud to be, right? Why not? Fob. Everybody should re-own the word fob. It means nothing, right? So he sort of reached out and was like, "Your hair's really nice. Can I touch it?" And I was like, "No, you may not. You may not touch my hair. This is very weird.
Yeah.
This is a very weird request to make."
I think
And-
that's how it like the first story that we just talked about, like the gym story.
Yeah.
It's just like men not knowing like what a woman's like personal space. and
Yeah.
territory
No,
is.
but it gets better, right? So he's like, "Can I touch your hair?" And I was like, "No." And then we kept talking, and I could see that like he kept looking at my hair, and like 10 minutes into the date, he anyways reaches back out and like touches my hair. Like just like,
Didn't
"Oh."
even take consent.
No, he's just like, "Oh wow, nice hair." And I was like, "Okay, bye." And that date lasted 20 minutes, as you can imagine.
Maybe he was like a hair like
Enthusiast.
He had a hair fetish.
Yeah.
So he's just like meeting girls who just feel the texture, like the keratin, you know.
He
whatever.
might have been a serial killer. I don't know. It's unclear.
Yeah, there are a
But
lot
that
of
was a
serial
very,
killers on
very,
dating apps.
yeah, that was a very weird date. You've had some really horrible dates too.
Yeah, my most horrible date was the one where, did I tell you about like how I went to like Soho? Soho House or whatever in Bombay.
Yeah.
And this like super like, you know, obviously family business, very rich guy, whatever, you know, like went to Stanford. I don't know if I'm giving out too much.
You probably are.
Yeah, went to Stanford. Probably got like, because, you know, they probably gave him like, probably gave Stanford like a donation or something, right? So, yeah, that kind of rich. So I went on a date with him, and this guy this is the second date. And for some reason, he thinks it's totally fine for him to put his hand on my knee and then just keep rubbing it in the
Yikes.
balcony area, like where there are like other people. And I was just like, okay, this is
It's
really
really
creepy.
awkward.
Also, that time I was a little bit like Ablanari types, which was not good.
Why were you Abla Nari?
I just was like, it was a whole thing.
I don't think you've ever been an Abla Nari.
It was
You've
a-
been like very like, I feel like I actually,
But
you
I
know
had
what?
never talked to men before the age of like 28.
25, yeah.
Yeah. Like
Some
a lot
problem.
of people don't know that about me. Like a lot of people think that I was like,
Because you were
I
really
got-
popular in school, and you had like a very big group of friends, and like guys liked you. But you had
but
still...
guys like anything that moved at that point.
No, that's
Yeah.
not true. Like you were cute, but you didn't talk to guys. You had some problems.
So the social anxiety, which
Yeah,
we'll
yeah.
cover, I guess, in some time. So anyway, so this guy's doing that, and then literally later when we were at the bar or whatever, I'm like drinking my drink, minding my own business, again super public space, and this guy just like forcefully starts like kissing me, and I'm like, dude, firstly,
Wait, he kissed you? I thought he just like touched your knee.
no,
Holy shit.
he like did not take my consent and started, yeah, like full on thinking that this is a makeout session in this very public
Was he
area.
like drunk?
I don't fucking care. Like, dude, just like learn consent and like be like polite,
Yeah.
right? And then it actually like scarred me for a very long time, but things are getting dark now. So yeah, that was my worst.
I mean, I feel like most people's worst date stories are like pretty dark.
Like most
I
people
don't
just,
know
like,
how to make them.
compartmentalize it
Yeah,
somewhere.
I don't know how to make them light, especially in like the age of online dating and meeting people that you don't know before. Like, there's very little. I mean, how do you know somebody's normal? You
Yeah,
really don't,
you
right?
don't, yeah.
Maybe we should talk about our best date stories just
Yeah.
to like switch it up a
Yeah,
bit.
yeah.
What, or maybe we can talk about, I don't know if your best dates were, hopefully our best dates were with our husbands.
Yeah, I think so.
I have like a worst good date
Okay.
story, but it wasn't with my husband. But it was it was actually like conceptually like a really nice date. So I was interning in New York over the summer. I was working for a bank, and at the time I was like really into this guy, and you know, we were having this like situationship, as people say these days. And one working night, like I think it was like a Wednesday night.
At work, dude.
No, we were in college together and we knew each
Oh.
other from before. So, but we were interning in the same bank. And so we had this like whatever flirtatious situation going. And we decided on a Wednesday night or a Thursday night, like a work night. This is like in the summer in New York. We bought two, like after work at like whatever, 6 or 7 p.m., 2 bottles of red wine, a whole bunch of cheese, and went to Central Park and just
Very Mediterranean.
very meditative. I don't know what we were thinking. I think we were like imagining this like very romantic picnic situation, which again, conceptually, this was such a beautiful idea, and like evening time, summer, beautiful, sunset, all that stuff. Except like we didn't, without realizing it, like within an hour, we had finished respectively 1 bottle of red wine each. And for those of you who don't know it, like red wine hangovers are the worst. Like, they're so bad. Like, and this was a Thursday night, mind you. So
I
somehow
love those nights, like where you just like go for happy hour somewhere after work, and then like a work day.
But this was the opposite of it. Like, literally, we got so smashed, and then somehow I got back to my room, and then I woke up at like 4 a.m. in my bathtub, fully clothed, like just like I had fallen asleep
You
there.
never told me this.
Yeah,
You were in a
I had fallen
bathtub?
asleep in my bathroom in the bathtub. And then I woke up and like my neck was hurting. It was horrible. And then I just had to go to work. And the day was horrible. And anyways, later in the summer, I realized that this guy had a girlfriend all along. So bad, you know, worst good date slash
Wait,
good
what?
worst date story.
He was cheating on her?
Yeah, there was like a whole background situation going on, which I did not
What the?
figure out until later.
Okay.
But it was like conceptually again,
The
like
way
a
you
good date.
described it to me, like I don't know how many years ago or whatever, was that, oh, it was the best date, it was so romantic. You never told me this. That this guy
No,
was
I
like,
told you that like red wine hangovers are really bad. That was the one takeaway for me. Like, red wine, do not consume in excessive quantities because it will
I
ruin
love how that's your
your
takeaway
next
from
day.
it. Great. So my best date, my best date is pretty like chill. Like basically, my husband Nikhil and I, we had gone. I think it was like a 3rd or 4th day. We went to the Cat Cafe in Versova.
Oh.
I don't know if you guys have been there. It's super cute. Some of the cats are a little violent because
Cats are always violent.
because they're like, you know, they're strays and they were like adopted, and a lot of them have gone through like really traumatic, you know, experiences, and so you know they can be bitchy. I think they can embrace that part. Like they can be bitchy. So there are a lot of these, like, you know, some of them like don't have an eye or like whatever, but like some of them are like really fun and they keep like jumping on top of you, and like there was like this grandfatherly, like really old like male cat who had only one eye, and he was like super slow, and like he's kind of like the dada of the group, and it was just great. It was a very nice.
It seems like you had a really good date with the cats. Like, you don't remember.
No,
You don't remember much about Nikhil, but you remember each individual cat that you
I
met.
remembered each individual cat and how I was physically attracted. No, I
What?
I
What is happening?
yeah,
Where
that,
is
that
this
took
going?
a weird turn. But no, but like I really like the fact that Nikhil was also like having fun with cats and stuff. And you know how I always describe him as like a golden retriever personality
Yeah.
because he's so like extroverted and happy all the time. I was like, oh, I love
He's
to meet
too
everyone.
happy. Like
Yeah.
her husband is just so nice.
He's
Like
always
it's
like
very
he's like a dolphin. Like he always just has a smile on his face.
yeah. But
And
like it's like it's so nice because like he just kind of brings like sunshine everywhere he
yeah,
goes.
so then seeing him like vibe with the cats was also like, wow, this is
Oh,
kinda
like
hot.
golden retriever cat.
Yeah,
Okay, I
this is kind
understand.
of hot. Like he has this like weird like side, like paranoid side also to him that cats represent. No,
I mean, you're kind of like a cat, so I
I
think.
read somewhere that cat owners have a higher likelihood of being schizophrenic.
What
Yeah, I read
really?
this. I mean, I don't know if it's like a causation
Correlation
correlation
issue.
bias,
Yeah.
but it could be like people who have.
Like, is it that you are already schizophrenic, so you
Oh no,
decide
it's
to
not
get a cat?
schizophrenic. Sorry, sociopaths. Sorry, not schizophrenic.
So very
sociopaths.
different.
Yeah.
But is it that you are sociopathic and then you decide to get cats, or the
Yeah.
cats make you sociopathic?
Exactly. So that's the.
Yikes.
But basically, there's a study around that.
That's gonna have a lot of
So I
implications
was like,
on.
okay, he has those sociopathic tendencies.
But that's gonna have
like
a lot of
me.
implications on like whether people decide to adopt cats or dogs.
Yeah.
You know this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Great. So yeah, that was a great date. And then
But-
and then they have like because it's a cafe, they also had like live musicians and it was like super cute, whatever. And then they have like a cafe outside, so you can like order Maggie and like it's raining and you can have
Aw,
like
cute.
like nice sandwiches. So it was a perfect.
So, the good thing, I think this is like the amazing thing that worked for you, which is that Shobhita spent a lot of time on dating apps. Like I think these days what ends up happening with a lot of people I know who are still single, a lot of girls who I know who are still single, they, like, and I get it, it's like so frustrating to like sort through
There's a lot of trash.
there is so, like, if you're using a Bumble or a Tinder or a Hinge, like there are just like, I mean, in India.
Don't use Tinder, guys. It's officially the murderer type of vibe, right?
Yeah, I mean, either which way, right? Like, there's so many profiles to sort through, and it just like, it can be so frustrating and so time consuming that it's like really tempting to just be like, screw this shit. Like, if
Yeah.
it happens, it happens. I'm gonna try and meet people through my friends, I'll go to a bar, whatever. But I think the problem is that, like, that just doesn't work, like, I mean, I feel
like concerned for our fellow single, not fellow, like for single women out there.
I mean, look, I don't have any, like, if you want to be single, great, like, awesome, right? Like, that's fine. But I'm talking specifically about people who, like, are trying to find somebody, right? Like, we spend so much time and energy into our careers and into deciding what college I want to go to, what career I want to choose, all that stuff. But, like, when it comes to finding a partner, it's a little, like, haphazard. It's like, dekhenge, maybe it will work out. It just happens. And like some of this is like what the media has taught us and what pop culture teaches us, like, it's like serendipity, and you just like find someone. Like, it doesn't work like that.
Although mine could be serendipity.
Yeah, but it took you work, no? Like, you went through, I mean, you found the diamond in the rough. You went through so many people.
I met like over 50 guys, like combining US and India. I've been on like 50 met 50 people or more.
Why did you pause there?
Because I was like, wait, was it 50 single first dates or was it
like the movie?
Yeah, there was a movie.
I think it was 50 first dates.
No, but whatever. It wasn't that. Like, there was some who had gone on multiple dates, and I'm not like.
I think you actually like went through hundreds of profiles. Like, think about how many people you just chatted with on the app and decided not to meet. Like, it was a very long process.
And it was really emotionally draining. Like, I totally get it how like a lot of women feel like it's just so. Yeah, it's just like emotionally draining. Like, I totally remember the feeling when I would like in the first 5 minutes just know that this is not gonna happen, when they were like, I don't know, like some IIT dude who's just like talking about himself for like freaking like half an hour. Like, I am in VC. and this is
I do banking.
I do banking.
Me myself.
My favorite line is that one. I manage a P&L end to end of this product. Have you heard
Yeah,
that?
yeah. A lot of
They think
people
it's like a-
manage end-to-end P&Ls.
Like, but like no one asked you that. Like, what?
You didn't want to know that, like when
Like-
you were on a date, do you manage P&L end-to-end or not end-to-end? I think that's an important differentiation to make. Like you might manage P&L, but you may not manage it end-to-end. So like, it's good that they like
They clarify
differentiate.
it.
Yeah.
Really.
So my story, I mean, I also met Chetan on a dating app. It's like so, I mean, I think the serendipity comes in that like, who would have thought that the mutual friend through whom we got connected, like I barely knew him, Chetan barely knew him, but we were friends on Facebook and that's how we met. And yeah, so we met in New York. I was in banking at the time. Chetan was in consulting, so horrible busy lives. But somehow we made time to meet each other. Our first date was surprise at a Starbucks, like super lame.
Wow, great
On a
networking
Sunday.
meeting.
Yeah. Not even like a Friday night or like, I don't know, Saturday brunch or anything. This was a Sunday 3 p.m. date, so quite loserly. And when I came in, Chetan was like on his laptop, like working.
I love how
This was a really
efficient,
bad date.
very efficient professional meeting.
He was like working because he had work, and then I walked in and he was like, oh yeah, hey. And then we got like coffee, and obviously then we spoke and like things were great.
But his whole thing was like he like wanted to get work done,
Yeah.
and he like didn't want to like overspend time.
Like,
I mean, he was trying to be like really consulting-y about it, like really efficient. That like if this chick isn't gonna turn up, like I'm just gonna keep working.
Do you know if he had like back-to-back dates?
Maybe. I've never asked him that question.
I've
That's a-
definitely had that.
that's
Like
a good question.
literally, this one guy who was like super insecure was like, "Where are you going now?" Because I was like, I had to leave, and weirdly, I was going to the weird Soho House date.
Oh, so did you tell him you were going to
Yeah,
date?
he was like, "Are you going to another date?" And I did not deny that.
So what did you say?
So I was just like, yes.
You just made some weird sounds.
Or I just like smiled, like,
Yikes.
yeah.
No, so maybe he was doing that. I don't know. But like actually, when I think back to like how I met Chetan and like we dated for about like 4.5, 5 years before we got married. Some of my best dates have been us just doing like really low key things, you know, like walking by the river and like talking or like, I don't know, going and getting wine, going to vineyards. Like, I don't know, I feel like people have this like expectation that your best date story has to be some like insane, grandiose, he took me on a helicopter over the city situation, but like it doesn't have to be. And I think that's when you know this is the right person, that like even the most simple things can be so much fun and can be so enjoyable.
yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I also like, I think with both our husbands, like one big
What are the red flags?
yeah, that's what I was just gonna say. That one big red flag we avoided was that, you know, they are super supportive of everything that we do, like career-wise, personal life-wise, health-wise, right? That's a big one. Like, I think like a lot of people don't understand like the health issues and the health journeys their partner is going through, and like may not be
Especially
kind
for
of,
women.
in
Like,
on it.
there's
Yeah.
a lot of like gaslighting that happens with women's conditions.
Yeah, like I think you and Nikhil, like, you know, he's so on top of, he's so on board with like everything you're going through mentally and like helping you manage it, right?
Yeah. I think literally on our second date, we started discussing like mental health. I was like, you know what is the fastest way to filter out people? Just like tell them, like, you know, what are your personal struggles or what is your deepest, darkest fear of whatever, right?
And then see how they react.
And see how they react. And so I was like, oh yeah, like, you know, I started, like I was diagnosed with anxiety and depression. So I'm now taking like this sertraline medication. And he, instead of being like that, he was like, oh, okay, yeah, that's,
I mean, he's also a doctor, so I think that helps.
yeah. But like, I mean, doctors can also be like
Very
weird, yeah. So
I think
like we all know with,
Yeah, I mean, even with Chetan, right? Like, I just had a baby about a year ago, and I think most people know this, but like post pregnancy, you end up having like a lot of hair fall. And like literally, I mean, it makes you so insecure as a woman when you're having hair fall and like whatever health issues, right? Which we should definitely talk about in another episode. But Chetan was just like, you know what? Let's have let's do like hair fall supplements together. Let's just take these supplements. They'll be good for you. They'll be good for me. Of course, I mean, that was a really nice move by him. But actually, I realized a little bit later that supplements that are made for men and women are actually not necessarily good for women, because most supplements are researched on and tested on, and they get feedback from men, right? Like unisex supplements, right? Like they get all of this from men because that's who they do all their research on.
Like the women's, what is it? Like the women's like science data gap or whatever.
Yeah, like the scientific research is just not done on men. Like it's largely done on men. And so that's the problem with a lot of these like unisex supplements. And so I realized later that the hair fall supplement I was taking had an insanely high amount of biotin, which is a really common ingredient in hair fall supplements. And if you have a really high amount of biotin, it can cause thyroid issues, hormonal imbalances. It can increase your acne, which obviously is not an issue for men, but it's a huge issue for women. And most supplements for hair fall will have like a crazy amount, like 1,000 mcg of biotin, when actually the right amount for women would be 30 to 40 mcg. Same thing, by the way, with like DHT blockers. Like a lot of these hair fall supplements have DHT blockers. Okay for men, but in women it can sometimes cause acne and it can cause more hormonal imbalances. So, I mean, that was like a separate thing that I discovered, but it was a nice gesture.
I think
Chetan and
I think when we
yeah.
were discussing this with our dermatologist, also when we were formulating the hair loss supplement that we have at Veera, we like discussed this actively, like this 1,000 mcg, like working for men, but like for women, it's a very different scenario altogether. So, yeah, that's.
I mean, I always say that a supplement made for men and women wasn't made for women. It was made for men.
Yeah.
Anyways, on that note, guys, we've covered a lot. That brings us to the end of our episode 3.
I don't know what episode this is.
So please like, share, and subscribe. Hit the bell icon wherever it is on this page, because we don't know where it is.
More like
I hope
how
you know.
most men don't know what the clit is.
Yeah, join us on our next few episodes where we'll talk about just more ridiculous stuff.